What's up, everybody? Good day, good afternoon, good evening. Hopefully, everybody is good and well. Mr. LP right here with The Neighbor's Way. Another episode. We are bike in Duval style, back for the world. Listen, hopefully, everybody's good. Hopefully, your week has been good and your weekend is much greater whenever you're watching it. I hope you're just great. All right. So, we have a special guest on this one. I was on Instagram just minding my business. I think I was doom scrolling, which I probably shouldn't have been doom scrolling, should have been doing some work. But nevertheless, I came across Orlando Jazz Festival flyer from the Orlando Jazz Collective, and it looked very intriguing. I was like, let me see what's up with this. Saw some of the artists, and then I reached out and was honored to be able to interview the founder today. So we're going to bring him on right now. Mr. Jerry Jasmin. How's it going, good sir?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Again, thank you so much for taking the time and opportunity to talk with us about the festival. This festival will be going on March 21st and 22nd of 2026. This will be in Orlando, Florida. Forgive me if I pronounce this incorrectly, but it's Manello.
Manello. Yes,
Manello. I said it right. Okay, Manello Museum of American Art. That's where it will be held at. Again, March 21st and 22nd. 2 days of jazz music, jazz infused music, and just all around culture. So we're here to talk with Jerry about that. So tell us a little bit about it, man. You know, about what's going on. I know we're gonna get more into the conversation with it, but just from starters on the groundwork, what is this festival about?
Yeah, this festival started with a dream when we first started the Orlando Jazz Collective, and which was back in 2023. We had our first show here in Orlando with the Emmy Award-winning artist Braxton Cook. He's a singer and saxophonist, and that show was relatively successful. Our next show, we were brave enough to do another show in 4 months later with Theo Croker, Leesburg native. And actually he went to high school in Jacksonville. And after the show, he said, man, what y'all doing is great. You got great momentum, but you really need to look into doing a festival. So he put the bug in my ear pretty early. And later on that year, I was doing a little research and I saw that the name Orlando Jazz Festival was available. And I yanked it up. And I realized, man, Orlando really doesn't have a centralized jazz festival. Mm-hmm. Jacksonville does, Clearwater does, Miami has them, Montreux Jazz Fest and Jazz in the Gardens. But we don't have one. So, like the stubborn entrepreneur that I am, I said, let's create it.
And how has that experience been, man? I mean, you mentioned stubborn entrepreneur, so I'm an entrepreneur myself, man. So I understand the risk, or not even risk. I would say opportunities. I like to put cheer and blessings and light to people's dreams, but like opportunities. How has that been, kind of putting things together? Because I did see a video where you were saying how you was doing media, meeting up with potential vendors and stuff like that. So how has that been for you?
Man, I appreciate the reframe of putting in a positive light. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I'm going to be real. There's an inherent risk here putting on a brand new festival with the stellar lineup that we have, and given the time frame. So it's been great, been many learning experiences. And at the same time, it's been stressful. So I'm going to keep it real.
Understood. But the reward is going to be very big, very, very big. Yeah. So let's talk about the actual the performances. So you mentioned that you the first show, correct, was with Braxton Cook, and then you have Theo. Then you have Christian Scott, formerly Christian Scott. And let me get this right, Chief Ajua.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah. 2 in a row. I got it right. Chief Ajua. Yeah. And then you have Butcher Brown. So I am a major, I'm a fan of everybody that you mentioned, that I've mentioned. The lineup, like I said, we play it on the show, on the neighborhood show. Oh man, but I'm looking for Butcher Brown. But Butcher Brown, their music really resonates with me like
Yeah.
tremendously. Being the fact that I'm a big hip hop artist and I'm a
Hmm.
big hip hop fanatic, but I come
Hmm.
from the lineage of jazz, playing the instrument, play saxophone, piano, still play
Hmm.
those to this day. But
Okay.
that fusion of it, I totally understand. So let's
Yeah.
talk about that. Like what made you select these people? Was it because of the love of the music or was it because of the demand of the culture? What was it?
I'd say a little bit of both.
Mhm.
Um, I truly am a fan of a lot of these guys' music. It also helped that we have a relationship, right? So Butcher, we brought them down here in 2024, October of 2024, right after one of the hurricanes, and they almost didn't make it, which would have been their second cancellation in Florida in that same year. But
Yeah,
we had
because
worked
they
with
they
them
were
on
supposed to
some of.
come. I'm sorry, they were supposed to come in Jacksonville, and
Yep.
yeah, and they didn't come, and I was hurt
Right.
by that. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I was hurt by it too, but I'm glad that we were able to make it right,
Hmm.
make them come back and welcome them to Orlando for the first time. So yeah, I'm a fan of all of their music. I'm a fan of their attention to mastery. But Butcher, for example, I'm really a fan of how palatable their music is. Right, so it's jazz. These guys can play at the highest level, but it's really easy to understand and to digest, and is low key mesmerizing. Their music in particular. Um, so I'm really excited about bringing them back. But the other cats that we brought on, some of them we have worked with, some of them we haven't worked with. Like Chief Ajua, we haven't worked with him yet, but we know if you listen to jazz, he's one of them ones.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, we carefully curated these sessions and this lineup with artists that we either have a relationship with or artists that we could reach. Um, but also artists that are moving and shaking in the industry. Um, but to have Terrence Martin closing out the festival, I mean that I don't think people understand what's about to hit them, man. Honestly,
Well, I understand. I
yeah.
understand, and we are here to make people understand because this lineup here is extraordinary. One
Mhm.
of the notes that was written down, um, that these artists represent the future of jazz, blending
Mhm.
jazz with hip hop, soul, futurism,
Mhm.
and experimental sounds. And everybody on this list is definitely doing all of those things.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
um, Orlando-based artists, I think
Mhm.
that's very important too. Adding the culture within it.
Absolutely.
I'm a big advocate of, you bring people in, you definitely pair them up with somebody dynamic that's from the local scene,
Mhm.
whether it's to showcase the local scene, the area of the local artist,
Mhm.
or it just matched perfectly, or from a marketing standpoint. So, how important is that to you to bring Orlando artists like Ryan Delvin, Earth
Mhm.
Tones, Gerald Law?
Mhm.
How
Yeah.
important is that to you?
Very important. And honestly, when we first released the early lineup, we had some names blurred out just because some of the business wasn't handled yet.
Hmm.
And we caught some flack for not having Orlando-based artists in the Orlando Jazz Festival. But
Hmm.
I'm tapped in, and these guys we've been working on getting them on part of the lineup since the beginning. Just we just had to handle some of the business. But yeah, it's very important to have Orlando-based artists playing in the Orlando Jazz Festival, produced by the Orlando Jazz Collective. And we actually they haven't released this yet, but we will have an emerging talent stage as well, to play in between the sets. So we're going to have a couple more opportunities for Orlando artists to play on those days as well.
Wow.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's hard to you can't please everyone, and there will be time for us to continue to build with the other cats. But right now, Ryan Devlin, he was actually one of the first people, after Theo, that said, "Hey, I think there's space for a festival here." And Gerald Law, he's always shown up for us. You know, Sometimes he can't make it to the shows that we're producing because he's gigging himself. I mean, he's toured the country with different acts. And then the Earth Tones, we've tapped in with them for a long time. Some of the guys have volunteered at our shows, and those guys can really play too. All of them can play. I mean, Ryan Devlin, I'm sure he could play the Coltrane changes with his eyes closed. He's that good, you know.
Yeah. So explain to me the culture of the jazz community there.
Hmm.
One would think that Orlando would have a jazz community or culture, or whatnot, but could you share a little bit about that? Like how does that look down there? What goes
Um,
on? What goes on in the jazz community there?
right. So I think the jazz community here, it is there is a jazz community here.
Hmm.
I think that Orlando being so big and spread out, it's kind of disjointed. Like you know, like I mentioned, there are jazz festivals here, but there's the Castleberry Jazz Festival, there's the College Park Jazz Festival, and just you know, I wish we could come together and have a cohesive unit. Um, and that's the plan. You know, I plan on collaborating with all of those guys and eventually creating something or community where everyone you know gets to participate. But yeah, in terms of the jazz culture here, we don't really have a full time jazz club here in Orlando. Um, I know there's jazz tastings. Shout out to jazz tastings, but outside of them, there's not a full time jazz club because I just don't think the culture is here. I think we have to build up to it. So that's part of my mission is to really cultivate a thriving jazz community, but also contemporary jazz community. Because as I mentioned earlier, there are different jazz festivals around. But some of the jazz festivals, you barely hear any jazz. You know, some of the places that you go, they say we're having a jazz night. Yeah, it might be a guy playing with the saxophone, but they're not playing jazz. So for me, I just want to take it back to the roots, the origins of where jazz started, and to really be a proponent of younger contemporary jazz artists so we can have a scene one day that maybe looks like LA or and I don't think we'll ever get to the point of New York City. That's just a different beast. But
Hmm.
you know, when I lived in LA, folks would line up to get into jazz clubs, you know, and that's me coming from Miami where, you know, everyone's lining up to get in the Live and Dream and all these other different clubs. But it was different for me. I'm like, man, this is interesting. What is this about? And I really appreciate where, you know, what that music means to me at this point in my life and just the positivity and the high vibrations around it. And I want to bring that here.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think and I guess I'll be in transparent moment for me,
Hmm.
but I come from the hip hop lineage, and like one of the main elements of hip hop is the sampling aspect of it. And
Hmm.
back in the 80s and the 90s, they was sampling jazz left and right. On top of me learning the art of like contemporary jazz or various amounts of jazz that I've learned playing my instrument and just being in a house that played jazz.
Hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe I just felt I'm like, bring it on. Like I like the fusion of it. Like I like
Hmm.
adding, that jazz element. I feel like the jazz elements and the notes in it
Hmm.
are so strong. And when I say notes, I'm talking about like, if we talk about cologne or something like that, like those notes are very strong
Right.
and it's prominent or whatever. And I think it adds to the collection of the genre that is being matched with, as
Hmm.
well as just the sound and just the fusion of it. It's a beautiful harmony. So
Right. Right.
I understand that people might feel like, oh, it says Jazz Fest, but there's clearly an R&B artist in there. But I
Hmm.
don't know, that R&B artist might be having a whole jazz ensemble behind them.
Right. Right. No, I'm fine with that. I love that. Like Jill Scott is one of the dopest, and
I mean, the
you
roots. Let's the roots, like the
know,
roots, like, oh man, the roots. But go ahead.
right. No, I mean, there's some artists that they can cross over, and they have jazz backgrounds, right? Alex Isley is one of them. Like she's R&B, but she has a jazz training. And she is so dope, man. And we wanted to get her for this festival, but you know we got to take baby steps.
Mhm.
But my problem is when jazz is co-opted, right?
Mhm.
And people slap the word jazz on just to attract a certain crowd. Now that's not cool, because if you're gonna slap the word on there and you just want to take advantage of the culture or the attendees, that doesn't feel authentic.
Yeah, I mean, we have those for sure. I mean, one of the main rumors about it is always, let's put this artist, well, let's say this and then
Mhm.
do that with the intent to sell tickets. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So that, capitalism still exists,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, but the rolling to the next question that I want to talk about, like, who is it for? And I'm
Hmm.
thinking like the first person is like the jazz lovers, like the people
Hmm.
who genuinely love jazz,
Hmm.
who loves music, who understands the art of fusion, who understands the art of a community driven festival. So
Hmm.
outside of jazz lovers, who is this? Who would this be for?
Yeah, I want to definitely say that, because jazz is so niche, I would love to have a room full of folks that are going to appreciate every note, every scale that's played. I don't want to negate that. I want this festival to be for everybody, anybody and everybody that loves good music, good live music. Um, and I think part of my job as we try to build this community here is to enlighten folks, the fact that they do like jazz. A lot of people don't think they like jazz because jazz is so taboo, but jazz is in everything. You mentioned it earlier: hip hop, R&B, jazz, birth, rock and roll. You know what I'm saying? So I want everyone to know that it's not as bad as you think it is, or as folks allowed you or made you think it is. It's very digestible, and it's not unapproachable. You probably like jazz and you don't even know it yet.
Right.
So jazz is for everybody. The festival's for everybody.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Indeed. So jazz lovers, culture seekers, people that want good vibes.
Mm.
I have on the notes it says date night crowd.
Yeah.
So you
Oh
could
yeah.
you could take somebody that you would like that you would want to court, huh?
Yeah. I mean, especially for the late night, the late night scene, late night sessions, VIP vibes. You want to impress your lady or your man. Take them lakeside. It's gonna be real, grown and sexy. Um, haven't officially announced this yet, but I'm happy to share. We'll have a cigar bar out there too.
Mm,
So, if you want to come for date night or if you want to come solo, there are plenty of opportunities for you to mingle with like-minded people. And who knows, you might even find a date there.
hey, that's the move as well. If you want to come in and check it out, see if
Yes,
it's
sir.
some sand at the lake. Might not
Right.
be the beach, but the sand at the lake.
Right.
Well, listen, Jeremy Jasmine, Jerry Jasmine, I'm sorry. I truly appreciate you for taking the time to talk to us about this festival. Give
Mhm.
us one more like exciting type of thing, like to bring us out, tell people what they're going to be looking forward to, and then we'll close it out.
Yeah, I mean, overall, it's going to be a great time. If you've ever been to one of our shows, it's full of energy, raw energy. Folks get dressed up. It's beautiful people. There's no riffraff, no YNs running around. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to hear the saxophone um, as you're pulling up to the Jazz Fest. So, it'll be a safe environment with a bunch of professionals, seasoned professionals, young professionals. Overall, the lineup is fire. Really, we didn't spare any expenses on the lineup. From Butcher Brown to uh, to Chief Ajua, Theo Croker, Braxton Cook. Man, Session C right now is the early session on Sunday, and that session has the Earth Tones. Um, I can't recall the say. Oh, Jonathan Pinson from California, and Maurice Mo Better Brown. Man, a lot of folks don't know that name in the mainstream, but Mo Bet is actually our only Grammy winner, I believe, in the whole lineup. And
Mm.
he travels with Silk Sonic and Anderson Paak. But I'm bringing him up to say like he's one of them, and he's a showman. You're gonna get a show when you go see Mo Better. And then going to that evening, you got Kiefer, who's a dope pianist, Malaya, extremely dope vocalist, and then Terrace Martin. I mean, this cat's been nominated for a Grammy 8 times. You know, very pivotal in behind the sound of "To Pimp a Butterfly" and Kendrick Lamar's early jazz influenced sound. And
Man,
literally,
look.
yeah,
Mhm. All
yeah,
of
he was
that.
just nominated for a Grammy for 2 Grammys a couple weeks ago. And interesting enough, he lost one of them. He lost to Kendrick Lamar, who is very instrumental behind shaping the sound. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Listen, man, this lineup is tremendous, man. Just to even go back on, like, I mean, you mentioned some of them, like, is it Kiefer? Or I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but
Kiefer.
Kiefer, yeah.
Mhm.
My apologies, Kiefer, but I listen to your music a
Yeah.
lot, and it gets played on my show. So,
Mhm.
like I said, all of these artists are definitely played on my show. So,
Mhm.
please, people, please make sure you get the tickets. Tell them where they can go get the tickets, please.
OrlandoJazzCollective.com. And actually did want to talk about the way the tickets work, right?
Yeah, go
So
for it.
we do have 4 sessions. Saturday we have an early session. Sunday we have a late session. I'm sorry. Saturday we have an early session and a late session. Sunday we have an early session and a late session. If you want to reserve a seat, you buy a ticket for one of those sessions. Now you can stay the whole day for the entire festival on the festival grounds, but you'll just have a seat for that session. Or if you want to do general admission, you can come in and stay all day. So just wanted to clear up any confusion. If anyone goes to the website to look for tickets, you can buy a seat in a session, or you can buy general admission. And you can, either way, you can come all and hang out all day. The seat is just tied to the session.
Gotcha.
Right.
I love that formality too, the session action.
Yeah.
That's pretty slick, man. So, but
Thanks.
I would recommend people staying the whole time. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Same.
get
Yeah.
your tickets. Is there a VIP option?
There's a VIP option. And we're gonna have a VIP tent as well.
Okay,
Yeah.
sounds good. Sounds good. Well, listen, I appreciate you so much, sir. Like I stated, my people, March 21st, 22nd. At the Manello Museum of American Art will be the Orlando Jazz Festival, the first of many. And that lineup is crazy. Just so get ready to get some community action going. It's community driven, vibe driven, and just straight up jazz and all the things that associate with it. So hold tight. Let me close this out, okay, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for listening and watching. Please make sure you go grab those tickets. Oh man, make that trip down Duval, make that trip down Orlando, and get ready. That's within the next month or so. So please make sure you go check it out. Good lineup, good lineup. All right. So we're finna get back into these tunes. And this is the end of the Neighbors Way episode. I'll see you on the next go round. Be good to yourselves and be good to others. To the top.